Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Awakening Israel. This is kind of a tough one for me because I'll be sticking my neck out in a way I don't like it very much. But I have a date for you for the day of the Lord. But I also have to qualify it. The day that I'm going to give you is my guess. And that's based upon others and the information that I've gotten from them. So if the information is correct, that date is October 16th, 2046. October 16th, 2046. Why October 16th? Well, that is my guess, because the flood of Noah began on October 16th. So don't hold me to it, but the window of opportunity for this event is from September through December of 2046. Where will you be come the fall of 2046? This is the day of the Lord in which it's going to be real rough on the planet. Extremely rough. The days leading up to it are going to be very rough as well. And the days afterwards might not be so rough, but I wouldn't count on it. It might take the earth a few years to stabilize. It's going to be destabilizing from here on forward. It's just going to get worse. That's all there is to it. I have people out there saying this isn't going to be as bad as last time. Then I have other people saying this is going to be worse than last time. I don't know. And I've got the same people, same man actually, telling me that, oh, we're only going to lose 10% to 50% of the Earth's population in this great event. Now the same guy is telling us it's going to be we're going to end up with survivors between 10 million and 500 million, which just happens to correspond to that crap they put in the Georgia Guidestones. Why would this man use the date from the Georgia Guidestones? Yeah, it's hard to trust anybody. As far as the day of the Lord goes, this is the big one in which the earth gets reborn and you get a new heaven and a new earth. It's going to be a wild time. The sea will it'll disappear. It will be there no more. Well, at least it'll go down quite a bit. Previous ranges were, I guess, 20 feet to 50 feet or 20 meters to 50 meters. But the whole thing can possibly disappear and you'll have all that land exposed. Boy, the survivors are going to have a wild time going through the old wreckage and the old ruins that are covered up by the oceans right now. However, my reading of the Bible tells me that there are several days of the Lord in the Scriptures, described several different ways, several different events, and from what I can tell, there's going to be a big event before that one. I'm working on the dates. When I can, I'll come up with those for you, but somewhere between 2029, 2033, something really incredible happens. Now, in one of the days of the Lord, all the beings on the surface go blind. Only those that are down in caves get to keep their eyesight. Okay, so we've got blindness described as one of those things. On another one of those days of the Lord, the sun appears in sackcloth. Gee, I didn't know the sun had any clothes. Well, the prophet described sunspots. So we're going to see that. In one of the days of the Lord, an angel drops a millstone, if you will, or a great asteroid into the ocean, or a flaming mountain into the ocean. So as you can see, this stuff's not likely to all happen on the same day. Or is it? And then you've got somebody touching foot down on the Mount of Olives and a big earthquake occurring. Then you got somebody returning with an army of angels. Then you have the pit opening up with really weird kinds of creatures. Really bizarre creatures. And you do have Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, in which all the neighbors get nuked as well. So, pick, what's your pick? It's like picking your poison. Well, not all of those are poisonous. Although I understand when the guy comes back and puts his foot on the Mount of Olives and touches down, that a lot of people will be upset at that. As for me, that's the one I'd like to see. That's what I'd like to be here for. I don't care about being here during the Big Bang, during the time when we get the earth reborn. I'm going to be so old at that point. I'll be almost 94. I might have just be turning 94. Oh my Lord. I hope it wouldn't happen on my birthday, but it might. I don't imagine myself making it that far. What do I want you to do? I want you to read the Bible. I want you to read it for yourself and by yourself. Now, I'm an Old Testament kind of guy, and I got to get help too. So when I tell you don't go to the big box churches, I do mean that, but that doesn't mean not to fellowship at all. If you can find a small group that really goes to the Bible, then do it. I've got one, and I do that one because they know the New Testament so much better than I do, and I really need that help. I need it, It's just wonderful to have some help with that, because I don't understand that very well. So, October 16th, with caveat on there. Could be anywhere from in September through December of 2046. October 16th was just the day that Noah's flood began. Now, I haven't researched that and sorted that one out for myself. That could have been the day the rain started. That could have been the days that they went into the ark. That could have been the day they sealed the door on the ark. I don't know, but all of those had days and times. I do know this, that we are at the end of the beast system. And that beast system was delineated pretty clearly in Daniel. And then in 2 Esdras. It's in there as well. I like Jeremiah. Isaiah had the greatest vision, and he had the greatest prophecies concerning our Messiah. I don't call him the Messiah, I call him our Messiah, because I own him. I want to take full stock in that. And we finished with Isaiah last time, and I want to move on to Jeremiah. And I at least want to cover the first chapter. And I might like to get into the second chapter. And I want to go into Jeremiah 3. Because that's got the sin that caused them to go into the captivity, which the devil and the devil's children have talked us into doing. they've set this up really nicely. Trigger the same fate upon us, the same trap. Jeremiah 4, I've got more in there that would be nice. Woohoo! Oh, it's in Jeremiah 4 that we have the Genesis flood, the beginning. Well, maybe it wasn't a flood as I look at this now. And I have studied this. I have read this, but not studied it. I've underlined it and I've highlighted it. And Jeremiah 5, well, we've got the strangers forsaking him, done things with strange gods. Maybe we should cover that. Jeremiah 6, I don't know. There's so much between us and there. I'd like to be able to cover that more. Jeremiah 7. There's a bit here too. That's a pretty short chapter, by the way. Oh, good Lord, is that... I got a dog-eared page. Means it's important. Oh, yeah. The Queen of Heaven and the confusion of their faces. Oh, boy. And then we've got the sacrifice of the children to Molech or Baal. In case you're wondering what such a ceremony looks like, there is a video of the ceremony. Yeah, it's on the internet. Look up July 3rd, 1933, Soldiers Field. Yeah, you get to see one of those ceremonies. You get to see one of those ceremonies. Can't believe it, huh? Man, it's in moving pictures. And it's actually kind of in black and white, but kind of in color. They could do color then, but they did that one, and I think it's in, I don't know. You tell me if it looks like color to you. Then we have Jeremiah 8. Kind of important. The water of gall. Gall is important throughout this Bible. Starts out with Cain. Goes to Simon the sorcerer of Acts 8, the first bishop of Rome. We covered that in a previous episode. I hate to call these shows, but I've got half the viewers on this than I do on the Dr. Kent show. The Dr. Kent show this morning was pretty fabulous, I think. I mean, we really covered a lot of stuff. And I had to take those folks into the Bible. I could not resist the temptation. Like saying it with that word. Jeremiah 1. The words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priest that were in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of Yahweh came in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. Josiah was a good king. It also came in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, and the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, to the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. Then the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And before you came forth out of the womb, I sanctified you, and I ordained you a prophet unto the nations. Plural. Got it? Then said I, Ah, Lord Yahweh, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. But Yahweh said to me, Say not, I am a child, for you shall go to all that I shall send you, and whatever I command you, you shall speak. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with you to deliver you, says Yahweh. Then Yahweh put forth his hand and touched my mouth, and Yahweh said to me, Behold, I have put my words in your mouth. See, I have this day set you over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down and to build and to plant. Got that last one? To plant. That's kind of important. Why? Jeremiah ends up going to Ireland, and he ends up coming to the New World, North America. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Jeremiah, what see you? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Then said Yahweh to me, you have seen well, for I will hasten my word to perform it. And the word of Yahweh came to me the second time, saying, what see you? And I said, I see a seething pot, and the face thereof is toward the north. Then Yahweh said to me, out of the north an evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land. The north is from where Israel was vulnerable and from where Israel was invaded. Recently, your King Trump gave away part of Syria to Israel, that postage stamp that pretends to be Israel. So basically, he stole the land from Syria and gave it to Israel. I'm not very happy with that. I'm sure Sheldon Adelson was elated, because that's one of the things he wanted Trump to do, and when he backed Trump for office. Verse 15, continuing. By the way, we're in, if you haven't seen me ever before, tuned in, we're in the proper name version of the King James Bible. That's why you're hearing the name Yahweh. And you've got to learn that, because those who make it are going to have this name. You're going to have to know his name. That's all there is to it. Okay. Verse 15, chapter 1. For lo, I will call all the families of the kingdoms of the north, says Yahweh, and they shall come, and they shall set every one his throne at the entering of the gates of Jerusalem, and against all the walls thereof round about, and against all the cities of Judah. And I will utter my judgments against them, touching all their wickedness, who have forsaken me, and have burned incense to other gods, and worshipped the works of their own hands. In other words, it's Yahweh's bringing judgment. He's bringing the invaders in to wage war. You, therefore, gird up your loins, and arise, and speak to them all that I command you. Be not dismayed at their faces, lest I confound you before them. For behold, I have made you this day a defense city, and an iron pillar, and brazen walls against the whole land, against the kings of Judah, against the princes thereof, against the priests thereof, and against the people of the land. And they shall fight against you, but they shall not prevail against you, for I am with you, says Yahweh, to deliver you. Jeremiah had a rough time. Chapter 2. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus says Yahweh, I remember you, the kindness of your youth, the love of your espousals, when you went after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. Doesn't that sound like America? We were kinder. We were good. That's what the Frenchman wrote about in his book about America. And he said, America is great because America is good. America will cease being great when America ceases being good. Going on, Jeremiah 2, verse 3. Israel was holiness unto Yahweh, and the firstfruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend. Evil shall come upon them, says Yahweh. Hear ye the word of Yahweh, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus says Yahweh, What iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they have gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and have become vain? Neither said they, Where is Yahweh that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, to a land that no man passed through, where no man dwelt. And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when you entered, you defiled my land and made my heritage an abomination. This is true for early Israel, because the Israelites adopted and practiced the religions of the people that Yahweh ordered them to destroy. They were ordered destroyed for a reason, not because he was mean or angry, because he knew what they were doing and worked with them for about 4 centuries, got nowhere with them. However, this also parallels the development of the colonies of Great Britain in America, including the Virginia. Virginia was the first colony and actually went from half of Maine all the way down south to Virginia. Took about the entire east coast, And we came to a land of plentiful, and no man dwelt. I believe if we look up this word man, we'll see it probably as Adam or Adam kind, meaning the radiant man, the noble man. There's another word for man. Actually, there's 2 words for Adam, and there's 2 words for the Enosh. And the Enosh are the earthly men who were here before Adam. I think that's what we'll find if we did that. I'm not going to do that right now. Jeremiah 2, verse 8. The priest said not, Where is Yahweh? And they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal, and walked after things that do not profit. Therefore I will yet plead with you, says Yahweh, and with your children's children I will plead. For pass over the isles of Chittim, and see, and send into Kedar, and consider diligently, and see if there is such a thing. Has a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? Sounds like America today. Remember what Barack Obama said, it's not a Christian nation anymore. But my people have changed their glory for that which does not profit. Be astonished, O you heavens, at this, and dog-eared page. Important stuff coming. O you heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be you very desolate, says Yahweh. For my people have committed 2 evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Is Israel a servant? Is he a home-born slave? Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared after him and yelled, and they made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitant. Also the children of Napht and Taphanes have broken the crown of your head. Have you not procured this unto yourself, in that you have forsaken Yahweh your God, where he led you by the way? Napht and Taphanes would be Egypt, by the way. And now what have you done? What have you to do in the way of Egypt? To drink the waters of Sihor? Or what have you to do with the way of Assyria? To drink the waters of the river? Both enemies of Israel, one south, the other one north. Same people there today. We call it Syria. Your own wickedness shall correct you, and your backslidings shall reprove you. Know, therefore, and see that it is an evil thing and bitter, that you have forsaken Yahweh your God, and that my fear is not in you, says the Lord Yahweh of hosts. For of old time I have broken your yoke, and burst your bands, and you said, I will not transgress, when upon every high hill and under every green tree you wander, playing the harlot. Yet I planted you a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then have you turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? Sounds like America today, folks. For though you wash you with soda and take much soap, yet your iniquity is marked before me, says the Lord Yahweh. How can you say I am not polluted? I have not gone after Balaam. See your way in the valley? Know what you have done? You are a swift dromedary traversing her ways, a wild donkey used to the wilderness that snuffs up the wind at her pleasure. In her occasion, who can turn her away? All they that seek her will not worry themselves. In her mouth they shall find her. Withhold your foot from being unshod, and your throat from thirst. But you said, there is no hope. No, for I have loved strangers, and them, and after them will I go. Declared bad stuff. I don't want to make comment on that one, but it sounds awfully much like what's happening in America today. As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets. Saying to a tree, you are my father, and to a stone, you have brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. We are in the time of Jacob's trouble again. The first time it lasted 20 years. And some people think that Jacob's trouble was 3.5 year periods. A little longer than that. We are in that right now. Just like occurred way back before Israel, the country, well, shortly after they came into existence, I guess. They think, no, it was before, because Jacob became named Israel, and they had trouble. Jacob's brother Esau wanted to kill him. Esau, they're the bad guys, in case you don't know. And Jeremiah 2, continuing 28. But where are your gods that you have made you? Let them arise, if they can save you in the time of your trouble, for according to the number of your cities are your gods, O Judah. Why will you plead with me? You all have transgressed against me, says Yahweh. In vain have I smitten your children. They received no correction. Your own sword has devoured your prophets, like a destroying lion. O generation, see you the word of Yahweh. Have I been a wilderness to Israel, a land of darkness? Why say my people, we are lords, we will come no more unto you? The previous verse, your own sword has devoured your prophets. We are ruled by murderers and thieves today. There's a CIA asset at least every 1.5 miles in the country. They want somebody dead, they just call it in, deploy him, and that's it. And they killed a lot of people. They killed Stanley, what's his last name? Myers, the guy who invented the water-powered engine. He actually figured out how you just had to swap out a device in the place of the spark plugs and you could run on water. A long time ago. They murdered him. They poisoned him. And then there's that guy, what was his name? Mickey Thompson. Mickey Thompson, they murdered him when he was out running. They murdered his wife in the house. Why? Mickey Thompson developed an oil. 300,000 mile oil. And our keepers couldn't have that because they wanted to keep selling us oil. Keep draining us dry. Keep leaching off us. See, all you would have had to do is break in your engine with one oil, change it, and then 300,000 miles later, change it again. Now they murdered him. There's a lot more than that. They continue to keep murdering us. And the FBI covers it up and does quite a few of the murders themselves. Welcome to America. Continuing, verse 32. Can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me, days without number. Why trim you your way to seek love? Therefore have you also taught the wicked ones your ways. Also in your skirts is found the blood of the souls of the poor innocents. I have not found it by secret search, but upon all these. Yet you say, because I am innocent, surely his anger shall turn from me. Behold, I will plead with you, because you say, I have not sinned. Why gad you about so much to change your way? You also will be ashamed of Egypt, as you were ashamed of Assyria. Yes, you shall go forth from him, and your hands upon your head, for Yahweh has rejected your confidences, and you shall not prosper in them. We dog here the page. Jeremiah 3, whole chapter is circled. They say, if a man puts away his wife and she goes from him and becomes another man's, shall he return to her again? Shall not the land be greatly polluted? But you have played the harlot with many lovers, yet return to me again, says Yahweh. This isn't the only sin that got them into the captivity, but this was pointed out by two of the major prophets. Here's Jeremiah pointing it out. So basically, this is it. If you divorce your wife, you don't take her back. You're forbidden. This is the law, basically. You're not allowed to get back together with your divorced wife. And yet in this society, they do it all the time. And as a result, the land is polluted. And the other fellow, the other prophet says, the land shall be polluted, that the land shall spew you out. You're going to go into captivity. So this was the sin that they were doing back then. I guess it was the straw that broke the camel's back. And this is what we do today with our family destruction courts. They're not family courts to make families. They're family courts to destroy families. And you women think that you're going to rule by taking advantage of the courts. Well, right now, have fun finding a man. Have fun trying to get one interested in you. We're tired of false accusations. We're tired of paying the bill. We're tired of being robbed. And this government's got no business in marriage anyway. Jeremiah 3, verse 2. Lift up your eyes to the high places, and see where you have not been lain with. In the ways have you sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness, and you have polluted the land with your whoredoms and with your wickedness. It doesn't always mean just worshiping other gods. Sometimes it means just what it says. Verse 3. Therefore the showers have been withheld, and there has been no latter rain. And you had a whore's forehead. You refused to be ashamed. They can't blush. They're sociopathic. Maybe full-blown sociopaths. Will you not from me this time cry unto me, my Father, you are the guide of my youth? Will he reserve his anger forever, and will he keep it to the end? Behold, you have spoken and done evil things as you could. Yahweh said also to me in the days of Josiah the king, have you seen that which backsliding Israel has done? She has gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there has played the harlot. Remember, mountains are governments. The green trees are the groves where they did all those weird religious practices on the children. And Shem killed his nephew Canaan because he was leading those horrible practices. And he cut Canaan's body up into 12 pieces and sent it around to the tribes, saying, "Hey, you do what Canaan did. This is going to be your fate." And Shem meant business. He had gone to Egypt and cleaned that place up. In fact, they actually did the Sphinx probably is to Shem. Shem was a redhead, by the way. He was a warrior. He also was the oldest. Noah had a good family. Let's go back into this. Verse 7. And I said after she had done all these things, turn you unto me. But she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel had committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. You see, twice it's mentioned in the Bible, double witness, Yahweh gave Israel a bill of divorcement. Okay, he divorced Israel. When Israel left, they didn't go back. They broke across the Caucasus mountain range. That's how come we got known as Caucasians. Went into lands not inhabited, at least by Adam kind, which, in case you're wondering, are Caucasians. That's all there is to it. Judah did the same thing, but he did not give her a bill of divorcement. And there are only a couple tribes down there, 3, maybe 4. I think Simeon went back and forth over the boundaries. Verse 9, and it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom that she defiled the land, and committed adultery with stones and with trees. And yet for all this her treacherous sister Judah has not turned unto me with her whole heart, but deceitfully, says Yahweh. And Yahweh said to me, the backsliding Israel has justified herself more than treacherous Judah. Made excuses, rationalized it. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return, you backsliding Israel, says Yahweh, and I will not cause my anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful, says Yahweh, and I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge your iniquity, that you have transgressed against Yahweh your God, and have scattered your ways to the strangers under every green tree, and you have not obeyed my voice, says Yahweh. Turn, O backsliding children, says Yahweh, for I am married to you, and I will take you, 1 of a city and 2 of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Zion used to mean something good, not so much today. Continuing, verse 15, and I will give you pastors according to my heart. Isaiah and Jeremiah both write about pastors. They had priests back then. What's the word pastors doing here? And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And it shall come to pass, when you are multiplied and increased in the land, in those days, says Yahweh, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done any more. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahweh, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahweh, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. In those days the house of Judah will walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north, to the land I have given you for an inheritance unto your fathers. That hasn't happened yet. That's in the future. I've got it marked up, asterisk on one side, cross on the other side, underlined and highlighted. That is a prophecy that's coming to bear. And they will walk together out of the land of the north. House of Israel rejoined with the house of Judah. But I said, how shall I put you among the children, and give you a pleasant land, a glorious inheritance of the host of nations? And I said, you shall call me my father, and shall not turn away from me. Surely as a wife treacherously departs from her husband, so you have dealt treacherously with me, O house of Israel, says Yahweh. A voice was heard upon the high places, weeping and supplications of the children of Israel. For they have perverted their way, and they have forgotten Yahweh their God. Perversion means a turning away from the norm, in case you're wondering, in psychology. All right? It doesn't mean all that other crazy stuff. It just means it's not the norm. It's not the main practice. Continuing, verse 22. Return, you backsliding children, and I will heal your backslidings. Behold, we come to you, for you are Yahweh our God. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills, and from the multitude of mountains, the governments of men. Truly in Yahweh our God is the salvation of Israel. For shame has devoured the labor of our fathers from our youth, their flocks and their herds, their sons and their daughters. We lie down in our shame, and our confusion covers us, for we have sinned against Yahweh our God, we and our fathers, from our youth even unto this day, and have not obeyed the voice of Yahweh our God. Jeremiah 4. If you will return, O Israel, says Yahweh, return unto me. And if you put away your abominations out of my sight, then shall you not remove. And you shall swear, Yahweh lives, in truth, in judgment, and in righteousness. And the nations shall bless themselves in him, and in him shall be their glory. For thus says Yahweh to the men of Judah and Jerusalem, break up your fallow ground, and sow not among the thorns. Circumcise yourselves to Yahweh, and take away the foreskins of your heart, you men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my fury come forth like fire, and burn that none can quench it, because of the evil of your doings. Declare you in Judah, and publish in Jerusalem, and say, blow you the trumpet in the land. Cry, gather together, and say, assemble yourselves, and let us go into the defense cities. Set up the standard toward Zion. Flee, stay not, for I will bring evil from the north and a great destruction. The lion has come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. He has gone forth from his place to make your land desolate, and your cities shall be laid waste, without an inhabitant. I'm going to stop right here for just a moment and interject. The lion has come up from the thicket, 2 Esdras chapter 11 and chapter 12, in the apocryphal books. Again, get on a list. Tell the publisher you'll commit to getting the apocrypha. Tell them you want to be on the waiting list. Once that list is compiled, it'll take at least 6 months to produce it. You need to know it because the end of the beast system is in the apocryphal books, and the stupid Protestants, of which I come from, took those out of the Bible a long time ago. The lion calls from the thicket to the evil, the evil eagle with 3 heads. That is the culmination of the beast system that began in Daniel, and it's explained there, and it is incredibly rich. If you understand it, man, produce a video on it, come back and leave some comments, give me some tips, because I need some help in understanding. That is a fabulous section. Verse 8. For this gird you with sackcloth, lament and howl, for the fierce anger of Yahweh is not turned back from us. And it shall come to pass at that day, says Yahweh, that the heart of the king shall perish, and the heart of the princes, and the priest shall be astonished, and the prophet shall wonder. Then said I, Lord Yahweh, surely you have greatly deceived this people in Jerusalem, saying, you shall have peace, whereas the sword reaches unto the soul. At that time shall it be said to the people and to Jerusalem, a dry wind of the high places in the wilderness toward the daughter of my people, not to fan, nor to cleanse. Even a full wind from those places shall come to me. Now also will I give sentence against them. Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariot shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. O Jerusalem, wash your heart from wickedness, that you may be saved. How long shall your vain thoughts lodge within you? For a voice declares from Dan, and publishes affliction from Mount Ephraim. I believe Mount Ephraim is Great Britain, brother of mine believes Ephraim is America. And by the way, Dan, the Judges, and Dan is omitted in Revelations towards the end, and that bothers me to no end. It's been explained to me a couple of times, but I guess I'm a little retarded. I'm a little slow. It hasn't really stuck yet. Continuing, verse 16. Make you mention to the nations, behold, publish against Jerusalem, that watchers come from a far country, and give out their voice against the cities of Judah. As keepers of a field are they against her round about, because she has been rebellious against me, says Yahweh. Your way and your doings have procured these things unto you. This is your wickedness, because it is bitter, because it reaches unto my heart. My bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart makes a noise in me. I cannot hold my peace. Behold, you have heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. Destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled, and my curtains in a moment. How long shall I see the standard, and hear the sound of the trumpet? For my people are foolish, they have not known me. They are foolish children, and they have no understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light. This is where Genesis starts, and this is where Revelations pretty much ends. The earth rebirths. 12,068 years, I believe, is the period for that. And there are other cycles as well. We are coming to the end of the earth age. I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled, and all the hills moved lightly. Governments, okay? I beheld, and lo, there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens had fled. I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of Yahweh, and by his fierce anger. For thus has Yahweh said, the whole land shall be desolate, yet I will not make a full end. For this shall the earth mourn, and the heavens above be black, because I have spoken it, I have purposed it, and will not repent, neither will I turn back from it. The whole city shall flee for the noise of the horsemen and bowmen. They shall go into thickets and climb upon rocks. Every city shall be forsaken, and not a man dwell therein. And when you are spoiled, what shall you do? Though you clothe yourself with crimson, though you deck you with ornaments of gold, though you cover your face with painting, in vain will you make yourself fair. Your lovers will despise you. They will seek your life. For I heard a voice as a woman in labor, and the anguish as of her that brings forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion, that bewails herself, that spreads her hands, saying, Woe is me now, for my soul is wearied because of murderers. So we have a mention of Genesis. So he was back in time looking at the reforming of the earth, at the regenesis of the earth, at the terraforming. Or was he in the future looking at the same thing? I hadn't thought about it being possibly in the future before. Jeremiah 5. Run you to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem, and see now, and know, and seek in the broad places thereof, if you can find a man, if there is any that executes judgment, that seeks the truth, and I will pardon it. And though they say Yahweh lives, surely they swear falsely. O Yahweh, are not your eyes upon the truth? You have stricken them, but they have not grieved. You have consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return. Therefore I said, surely these are poor. They are foolish, for they know not the way of Yahweh, nor the judgment of their God. I will get me to the great men, and will speak to them, for they have known the way of Yahweh, and the judgment of their God. But these have altogether broken the yoke, and burst the bonds. Therefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Everyone that goes out there shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased. Pay attention to that, the lion, 2 Esdras 11. And the wolves, what does our government fear the most? The lone wolves. And what were the judges back in the book of Judges? They all acted at Yahweh's prompting. They followed Yahweh's will. And they rescued their people. And the people forgot again. They kept repeating that pattern. That's where we are today. And you will pray to Yahweh for relief. Continuing, verse 7. How shall I pardon you for this? Your children have forsaken me, and sworn by them that are no gods. When I had fed them to the full, they then committed adultery, and assembled themselves by troops in the harlots' houses. They were as fed horses in the morning. Everyone neighed after his neighbor's wife. Shall I not visit for these things? Says Yahweh. Shall not my soul be avenged on a nation such as this? Go, you up upon her walls and destroy, and make not a full end. Take away her battlements, for they are not Yahweh's. For the house of Israel and the house of Judah have dealt very treacherously against me, says Yahweh. They have belied Yahweh and said, it is not he, neither shall evil come upon us, neither shall we see sword nor famine. I just want to point out here that the battlements are going to be taken away. And according to the prophet from South Africa who passed away in 1926, America will be attacked, the United States will be attacked, and will lose her armaments in one day and will never be a superpower again. That's what they're trying to sucker you into right now in the Ukraine. So they have justification to nuke your asses. You don't think they won't do it? They will do it. They're counting on it. That's why they're putting this next witch into office. You're going to get your first female president. And she's perfect for this country. She will prosecute that war in the Ukraine to the full extent of America's military might, even nukes. Not only that, she'll prosecute the war against the people so that they will bang on your doors and drag you from your houses so they can inflict things upon you to protect you and make you safer. And you are seeing sword war, and you are starting to see famine around the world, greater famine, and it's coming here. Continuing, verse 13, and the prophets shall become wind, and the word is not in them. Thus it shall be done to them. Wind, breaking wind. Therefore, thus says Yahweh God of hosts, because you speak this word, behold, I will make my words in your mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. You need to go to the Apocryphal books. It describes Yahshua in the future and the weapon from his mouth, and who he uses it on. You'll be surprised. It's in there. Verse 15, Lo, I will bring a nation upon you from afar, a house of Israel, says Yahweh. It is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation, a nation whose language you know not, neither understand what they say. Their quiver is as an open sepulchre. They are all mighty men. And they shall eat up your harvest and your bread, which your sons and your daughters should eat. They shall eat up your flocks and your herds. They shall eat up your vines and your fig trees. They shall impoverish your fenced cities, wherein you trusted with a sword. Nevertheless, in those days, says Yahweh, I will not make a full end with you. And it shall come to pass when you shall say, why does Yahweh our God all these things unto us? Then shall you answer them, like as you have forsaken me, and serve strange gods in your land, so shall you serve strangers in a land that is not yours. They got hauled out to the other side of Assyria, placed between Assyria and the land of the Medes as a buffer zone, so that if the Medes wanted to go after Assyria, they'd have to go through the Israelites first. Later in the future, the Israelites and the Medes join forces together and they take out Babylon. And thereafter, the Israelites bolt across the Caucasus mountain range, generally speaking, 3 giant migrations, in a place called the Darel Pass, upon which is chiseled in Paleo-Hebrew the gates of Israel. If any of you can get a picture of that, I'd really love to see that. Continuing, verse 20. Declare this in the house of Jacob, and publish it in Judah, saying, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes, and see not, which have ears, and hear not. Fear you not me, says Yahweh. Will you not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for my bound of the sea, by thereof toss themselves. Oh, I skipped it. Which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree that it cannot pass. And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. But this people has a revolting and a rebellious heart. They have revolted and are gone. Neither say they in their heart, let us now fear Yahweh our God, that gives rain, both the former and the latter, in his season. He reserves unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. Your iniquities have turned away these things, the blessings, and your sins have withheld good things from you. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait, as he that sets snares. They set a trap. They catch men. As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore they have become great and grown rich. Basically, he's telling us here that our criminal justice system is built upon deceit. And the people that profit on it, they're full of deceit because they have robbed other people. That's what's happened. We no longer have common law. We have, about 1964, we have whatever the other law is from Interstate Commercial Code. It's not common law, though. And when prosecutors retire and they read the book by the other attorney, they just about shit bricks. Why? Because they realize that each time they convicted somebody in the system using statutory law, when they started accepting statutory pleas, it was in itself a crime against the men they were convicting. And they shudder, and the judges shudder too when they realize the truth, because they realize they have screwed up. They're guilty of so many crimes, it's not funny. That's why we imprison more people than any other place on the face of the earth, is because we made it profitable. Continuing verse 28, they have grown fat, they shine. Yes, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause of the fatherless. Yet they prosper, and the right of the needy do they not judge. Shall I not visit for these things, says Yahweh? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? A wonderful and horrible thing is committed in the land. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means. And my people love to have it so. And what will you do in the end thereof? Pastor Jerry Wickey said these pastors would do better just to read the scriptures and not bother preaching, because they preach a bunch of lies. They don't teach the truth. And they do all this feel-good stuff about how, once saved, always saved. All you got to do is utter this magic formula, and that's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. Now, I know some of you are going to disagree with me on that. That's okay. You work out your salvation. I'll work out mine. To anybody who wants to really follow the way, they're obligated to read this book. They're obligated to find their self in it, their place in it, to figure out what they partake of, and discover their own path to salvation and work it out. There is national salvation and there is individual salvation. There is national judgment and there is individual judgment. Now, I'm not sitting real comfortable here realizing what my national judgment is and what's going on and what these guys have set us up for. But they've been screwing around with us since about 7 years, since the start of the nation. But Ben Franklin set us up from the beginning. How? Honeypot. He went to Paris. What was that place called? The Hellfire Club? I think that's what it was called. And then he went and signed the Treaty of Paris. What was that, 1773, 1783, whatever it was. There were 2 treaties in Paris. He signed the Treaty of Paris, and the fellow representing the King of England wore 2 hats. He also took care of something for the Pope out of Rome. And so basically the contract which Ben Franklin signed, and I don't know if this was wittingly or unwittingly, it created a corporation called the United States of America under the Pope in Rome, under canon law. You see, folks, there's only one corporation on the whole planet, and that is out of Rome. That's Roman law. That stuff still prevails. And as far as, signing a contract and incorporating underneath the King of England, he was under the Pope as well. We've gone long. If you stayed this long, I hope you got something from it. Share it, subscribe, get one of these Bibles, call up or email, put yourself on the waiting list to get the Apocrypha. We're going to do that. I do have other plans, but I really want to get one goal accomplished at a time. This is the big one right now. You need this because there's not much time left. Things are going to be happening very quickly from here forward. I expect to see more mental instability. It's a combination of things. Our keepers have actually crowded us in a certain fashion in order to cause problems, and the death rate for women is going to be going up. That's what they have programmed into this. Yeah, they did this stuff in rat labs, and they discovered how to do it, and they kept replicating it, and they're doing it to us. They do learned helplessness and executive monkey types of studies on the population at large. They divide and conquer us all the time. They're doing multivariate, multi-whatever, nodal interventions all the time and studying it and honing the results. Psychology's been taken over as well and used against the country. That's all there is to it. It is an evil profession as practiced today in the United States of America and in the provinces of Canada. And if Jordan Peterson, if I could give him a word of advice, it would be, you can't surrender your license while you're under a complaint. What you can do is sign on and agree to doing what they want, and then you can petition them to retire your license, which is what I did. And then you will no longer be under their jurisdiction. That is your road to freedom. And if you think you can't make a living after making the big splash you've made, I got news for you. Yes, you might lose some income. It might drop precipitously. But you've made your mark. And I think the people will support you and will listen to you. even though you get some of the Bible stuff wrong. That's all right. You can watch my channel. You can find a group to join up. I know one that's pretty close to Canada. I know another one that's up in the middle of Michigan as well, even further north. Not too far from where you hang out, from what I recall. You might take a day to drive there. You know. Yahweh bless you. Yahweh bless America. Yahweh bless Israel, the descendants of Israel, the man. May the people of America bless Yahweh as well. I used to protest that because I thought, my buddy sends me a bumper sticker saying, America bless God. I'm thinking, I mean, what's with the audacity of that? I don't have that big of an ego to think God needs my blessing. And then I read in the Bible how certain kings prayed and blessed Yahweh as well. I don't think that's a bad idea. How about you? That's all I got for you.